Welcome back to Music Rankings, Reviews, and More. And today, this is the first time on the channel that we will be doing a individual song review, a single. This is not multiple songs. This is not an EP, not an album or anything like that. It's just a one song. So, gonna go into some very specific details of it, obviously, because a lot of songs are around 3 minutes. So basically, you're getting our entire thoughts about everything on a 3 minute song. And while I would usually not, want to do a video like this, mainly just because this is a band where everything from them I do not like. Just going to go into context here a little bit, if you don't mind. Is I don't really like anything this band does, but this song is different. Not going to say in what way. So I thought it'd be interesting to make a video on this at the very least. Some context outside of my hate for them. This is, and I'm not saying this because I hate them. I mean, I do, but I'm not saying it because of that. They are one of the most hated bands in any genre in both America and, well, maybe not across the world, but especially in America. Um, and especially if you want any proof of that, you can see that through the lenses of four music reviewers in Maine. You have Brad Taste in Music, basically just laughs and points at them and mocks them with autotune. Spectrum Pulse, who gets very angry over them. ARTV, who basically draws comparisons to random things that are either funny or sound painful because of how bad the music is. And then you have Fantana, who is the most respectful of the four while reviewing them, yet talks about them and like basically just kind of destroys them in the most respectful way possible. They all four hate AJR. I'm basically just trying to get at the point that critics do not like this band. It doesn't matter what type of critic you are, what type of music you like outside of this band, they don't like this. That's the context.
Yeah, so I don't quite as much hate them, but like I've definitely grown to like dislike them more recently. Personally, I think they have like a
Smart.
few like decent to good-ish songs. Like nothing of their it's mostly just like fun songs, but like as I listen to some more of their songs, like some of them are just really just annoying, I'll say. I'm not going to get into all that, but like there's just a lot of questionable moments that it's just like I don't know, like, yeah, be creative, be original, whatever, but like, why? I'm not going to get into all the specifics, but like, yeah, there's just a lot of stuff that they do that I'm really just not a fan of.
Yeah, for me, it's like basically what I'm taking this as a comment that ARTV also said, which I am in full agreement of. Basically just saying that every time they start something that is half decent, they basically ruin it with some
Yeah,
self-sabotaging mix or auto-tune or weird vocal
that's most,
thing that
yeah,
just doesn't need to be there. Basically having instrumentals or mixing that just is comes out of nowhere. You're not
yep,
expecting it, and then it just sounds horrible, and they do it in a bad way. So that's
yeah,
basically why they get hate, essentially. And yeah, that's why I
yeah,
don't like them either. Also, I do have personal trauma from this band from listening to them for 5 hours straight in a car ride because of my brother, but that is besides the point.
yeah.
So,
I feel like especially just like the mixing and the instrumentals is like the major point that drags
yeah,
them down a lot. Like other elements, like I wouldn't say are great or anything, but like that's the major
they're
thing
just kind of
why they're
there.
so hated. It's the mostly just the mixing and like the random sounds and all that. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So that is some context for this. However, as someone who would consider myself a enjoyer of music and also someone who likes to critique it, even if I do like it, and review it in the best way possible, I obviously had to go into this with an open mindset. Um, I could come out of this feeling like several different ways, and I am a person that believes that just because a song is under a certain label, that will not automatically make it bad, even if it is usually bad. There is still chance for improvement. Um, we'll get into if that happened or not, no spoilers, but my point is like I just wanted to say that I went into this with an open mindset. So no matter if you hated this song, loved it, liked it, whatever, however you feel, like I did go into this with an open mindset. But yeah, we're gonna discuss it, so it should be interesting to hear what we have to say, I think. All right. So first off, we will start off with my review of this new song that uh they have brought upon us. and then Christoph will go next with his review, and then we will probably both give a score out of 10 points um for this song at the end. Um Also, side note, should definitely be interesting to see what the full album sounds like, no matter if it's good or bad. I mean, it's always interesting to say the least.
True.
Um yeah. So, starting off with this, let's get into the instrumentals first, as that is the main reason why they are hated. However, on this track as a whole, I do not feel they're anywhere near as bad, which is surprising. Um, so, getting into the individual instruments, you have the guitar, which is honestly not really present here. It's here and there. It just is basically add a little spice to the, mix in the song here, but it's not really that present. It doesn't really come up or about at all. It's just here and there, mainly in the verses. The chorus is too poppy, which I'm not complaining about necessarily, but you, I'm just saying you can't hear the guitar in the chorus at all um, because of the way the chorus just goes about.
Yeah.
Drumming, there actually is some complexity to the drum pattern at times, but again, it's mostly simple. It's mainly at the complex parts are at the start. They do this intro. It has a little bit of complexity to it, and then also the transitions from the verses up to all of the choruses have a little bit of complexity. But throughout most of the verses and other things, it is mostly pretty simple. Again, not bad, but also not great. It kind of is just there. Um, Vocals are actually, I will say they were good. I think it's the best performance that we've heard from Jack Meta as a vocalist because there's nothing that he does that just sounds like shit on this. I think that the auto tune really takes away from the human side of his voice, and like here, there may be some, but it's not noticeable enough to warrant discussion. So I do think that was one of the pros of this song. So I do think that the vocals are maybe some of his better performance, if not the best. And then the last instrument that people, this actually might be the most talked about instrument on an AJR album is the bass, because usually you cannot hear it on any of their songs because the mix and the
True.
overproduction of the Disney antics is way too loud. But you can actually hear it a little bit more than most of their songs. But again, it is not super present. I think with some better mixing there, they could have added in that mix, made it a little bit more prevalent. I don't think that they did that really though. And outside of the instruments, you got to get into some stuff here. Um, Both like pre-song, meaning like the writing, and post-song, meaning like the production and the mixing. So going over the production here now is it was actually quite solid. I thought it's nothing flashy, it's nothing that unique. Again, but it's not the overproduced stuff with the Disney sounding melodies that basically just drive people away from most of their music. So I do think that it works in that sense. Also wanted to talk about this. This isn't really an aspect of songs, but I just think it needs to be mentioned for the sake of it because it is a noticeable thing technically is the originality. It's not the most original thing ever, but it's also not the most unoriginal thing ever. I do hear a lot of Harry Styles as it was, and I thought that was the only one, but I actually saw a YouTube comment on as well. So I was like, okay, so I'm not crazy then. Um, it definitely has the same melody in the verses, I think, and some other parts too. And the drumming is actually quite similar between the two tracks, if you notice. Also, and there's also some other various pop songs here and there that you can compare, but again, it's not the most unoriginal thing. It's just kind of not generic even, because like there's more generic songs that are made, but it's nothing new really either, is what I will say. Another big thing that I wanted to talk about was the harmonies and melodies, different things, but they kind of go together as they are similar words and they kind of work in opposite ways of each other and also with each other. That being said, um, it's it's extremely simple and actually a very generic melody. And the harmonies are that as well, but the harmonies simplicity again works as another benefit to AJR rather than them trying to be super complex with the harmonies and going for something super loud and overblown, which honestly would just not be as sweet and wouldn't sound as good. Um, I do think that it was quite 2000s Weezer inspired for the harmonies. I really hear a lot of Island in the Sun on for the harmony part. Really reminded me of that. Not the melody, but the harmonies did. And I think it may come as a result of the two groups working on that collab song "Sober Up," which was on the Click, terrible album, but you know that's what it was on. Um, the harmonies aren't trying to be over top, and they actually know their place in this tune. They know when to come in. They're not put in random spots. They are put at the end of the main line in the chorus. That's a follow-up call and response kind of thing. So it knows its place. It at least is not doing something that just would get people to click off of this song. So I do have to appreciate that. And while they are simple, it actually works in better. I think the simplicity actually is quite sweet. I don't think that it's not like super trashy, so that is good. Um, and then also the mixing, which is like probably the biggest reason why people hate their music, even more than like the Disney sounding shit. So the mixing, there's pros and cons here for me. I really do wish the bass mix for that instrument was just a bit more prevalent and maybe loud, so you could actually hear it a bit more. But then again, you can say that for a lot of their songs. The mixing doesn't do anything like it doesn't mix any crazy out of this world mind-blowing auto tune in there, which is good, or any antics or weird jazz faux swing that they like to do. Although there are some horns in here, but they're not really in the style that they usually do for the horns. And the horns actually sound real. They don't sound like some auto-tuned weird garage band type thing. You know, like I feel like a lot of their horns
True.
generally sound like they can come right out of garage band and you wouldn't know the difference, which is a problem. Um, the horns actually do again know their place, like the harmonies in this song, so they aren't randomly placed, and therefore it leads to this song not be completely ruined again. And then two more things to point out: song structure and songwriting. It is a quite simple, strong structure. It's been done many times, specifically as it was by Hairstyles. That song is like I cannot. It's like kind of similar
Yeah,
in
kind
some
of.
ways. It works to the benefit of them by having a simple song structure because I feel like a lot of their song
Yeah.
structures, while they're not complex in the slightest, they just throw something that totally makes it go out of left field, and like the song structure basically gets broken up into two pieces or more. Um, so I do think it works to their benefit because um, they craft a listenable song here. Like the reason, a part of the reason why their songs, a lot of them aren't listenable, in my opinion, are because the song structure is both simple, but it's also just all over the place. And like, pick one, like it's just weird. Um, and then the last thing, the lyrics, they actually do stick to one subject and they don't go rogue into this politics thing that they like to do that just like drives listeners away. And it's also totally random and it's not like the point of the song. They also do not go into this mindset or interpretation of being a little child, which is good because like that is why, again, like a lot of people, including myself, hate their songs. So again, there's some positives, there's some negatives, of course. To this song. I will say my final rating once we're done with both of our reviews. I'll save that for the end. So yeah, those are my thoughts.
Yeah. I pretty much agree with like almost all you said. I'll just give like my brief overall thoughts, some stuff I wrote down when I thought about this. So yeah, I was very surprised, honestly, when I listened to this. Like I was just checking like new releases and I was like, oh, AJR released a new song and we've been talking about like AJR in the past,
I
making
didn't
fun of
even know
them.
that until you told
I
me. That's
know.
kind of how this happened.
I had no idea. I just looked there and I was like, "Oh, hey, it's AJR." I'm like, and then I saw the song title. It's called "The Dumb Song." I was like, "Oh no, this is gonna
That
suck,
was my
isn't it?"
reaction because the
I was
title's
like, "No
terrible.
way." They just like they really named their song like "The Dumb Song." Like, come on. And then I listened to it. I was like, actually not bad. Like, wow. Like considering like the
Yeah,
low expectations I had just for like AJR in general, and for the fact they called it "The Dumb Song," which is like
true.
not exactly a great song title, but like I guess it works for the context of the song lyrics. But anyways, yeah. But like it was actually pretty good, and I feel like a large part of this is because it actually doesn't sound like most AJR. Like
I
it,
know. I literally forgot I was listening to
yeah,
an
it's
AG
like wait,
song.
this is
No joke.
AJR,
No joke.
and
Yeah, yeah.
like that's a compliment though because like that's a good thing. It doesn't have like the crazy weird chaotic weird mixing that a lot of their songs have. It doesn't have the weird random sound effects they just throw in there, the whatever random instruments that are placed randomly. Like I swear some of their songs sound like they're randomly generated, basically,
AI.
pretty much. But like, yeah, it's just a big part. Just like the mixing isn't horrible, and like that makes it so much better than like so much of the other stuff. Like it actually makes sense like as a song. It's not just like, oh, they threw a bunch of random stuff together. And also the vocals, like as you said, actually pretty good sounding. It's not like I don't hear any auto tune. I mean, it's possible they use some, but like they don't make it like super obvious like some of their stuff. Call my dad. I'm not gonna
Oh,
rant about that.
yeah. Or thirsty too.
Yeah, or like a good amount of those songs. Like, yeah, and vocals are not like super mixed, weird, or distorted, or pitched, or whatever the hell they do.
It's pitch. It's called pitch shifting. It's what
Yeah,
they do.
yeah, which is very annoying. And then also like just a bit of the instrumentals, like the drum beat, it's pretty catchy. It sounds pretty good. Also, I like the use of horns. It's definitely, as you said, sounds better than like they've done in the past. Sounds a lot more authentic too. And then like the guitar playing not too present and it's kind of basic, but it's still kind of nice. It's included a bit and the bass too. Of course, it could be mixed better, but honestly, I can't complain too much because this is a massive step up for mixing for like anything they've done. So
Well, just as a song in like so many different areas too, I think. Like
yeah,
everything, every category that I would rate their song on mostly either stayed the same or went up, which is good. Like nothing went down for me,
yeah,
like in terms of the
very good.
categories that I was going off of. So that's good.
Yeah, and also just say it's more like normal sounding, like an actual song. It doesn't have like the really weird or like childish lyrics as you said. Like some of their lyrics is just like, huh? It's like I really want to show you my play. Like what? Like what?
Yeah.
Like I understand writing from different perspectives. Like people do that all the time to make like songs more interesting, but like why are you always writing from like little kids? Like you can't just use that as an excuse for like stupid lyrics. It's like, "Oh, well, it's like from the perspective." No. Just write better lyrics and these lyrics they aren't great, but they're quite a bit better. They actually have like a little bit of meaning. I'm not exactly sure what they mean, but like I looked up online. What I think it's about, it's like people like insulting you and like basically like learning like ignorance is bliss. Like you should just like be yourself and like just do your own
I th
thing without worrying about like
I
hate
th
and stuff.
Yeah, I think so too, because on not this single, I'm pretty sure, but a different single, basically the cover for that was them like very giant, but there's like a bunch of small people and they're not stepping on them, but they're just like
Oh yeah.
it's such a size difference. It basically just shows that the people that are writing all these mean reviews about them, hello, um, you know, are basically like insignificant to them. They don't care like
Yeah.
what ARTV or Spectrum Pulse or Brad or whatever have to
Yeah.
say about them. Like they're making a lot more money than any of us. We're basically
True.
insignificant in their plan
True.
to craft their music. So we're just basically haters, which is true, but like they also kind of
Yeah.
deserve it most of the time. But my point is like it's symbolism. It shows like
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
don't they're trying their best not to care about the insignificant people, which I guess is us in that case.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's pretty cool. I mean, of course, it's ironic because they get a bunch
I
of
know,
hate,
and
but
I
like,
actually think the reason that this song sounds different is because they got so much hate for their
yeah,
stupid, shitty
and
sound,
like
and
that's
like they're
kind of
just like,
cool.
okay, sorry.
Like obviously, all bands like they have the right to do their own thing, and like yes, there are dedicated people who do like that kind of thing. Everyone has a different taste, and that's fine. But like, this is kind of cool. They're basically just saying like, yeah, we do what we do. People don't like it, that's okay, And then they do this, and like, and then they're like, changing their style a bit, and it's like, this is a pretty smart move. So yeah.
Right.
And also one last thing, this like this thing we like to call AJR moments, basically really weird, like just AJR moments. It's just the best way to describe it, like weird mixing and random crap. It only has like
Also,
one,
the weird pitch shifting and like
yeah,
random songs that aren't
yeah,
directly labeled under AJR, but definitely sound like they could
yeah.
be.
And like there's only like one moment like that's kind of like that. It's like some kid says, "Oh, you should not have done that" or whatever. It's like 2 seconds. It's just like I don't really know
Yeah.
why that's in there, but like it's insignificant and it's not like it's repeated through like the whole song or anything like some of the other songs.
Like thirsty, thirsty, yodelay,
Yeah,
yodelay.
that's
Hee-hoo.
just like come on. But like
Yeah.
yeah, I don't really have that much complaints. Like it's definitely not perfect. I wouldn't say it's
Or
great,
amazing.
but like for HAR, oh my God, this is a massive step up. Like
Honestly, this is their best song like that I've ever heard on
probably,
so many
yeah, I probably
levels.
agree.
Like it's their least annoying. It's actually fun and catchy
It's
to listen
quite
to.
listenable.
this is coming from someone who genuinely despises them. Like I'm just saying,
Yeah,
like if
yeah,
I'm saying that, like it's hard to disagree. You know. But
yeah.
yeah, so
I'm
I
very interested to see the new album, just to see like if they
if
go with their
everything else
style.
sounds like
Like,
this, I'd probably give it like not a super positive review again because it's not super
yeah,
creative, but like it wouldn't be negative either.
yeah, which is like a definitely a step in the right direction. Like obviously it's not like they're selling out like people who say
Yeah,
that they're
like
dumb, but
if
like
you can get above like a 4 or 5 out of 10 for me for AJR, that's like mind blow. I
yeah,
wouldn't have thought of that because all their other albums are below a 4 for me. Um,
yeah, but like, that's pretty cool,
right now.
honestly. You know,
Yeah. All right. Um, so review. So should we do our score rating out of
yeah,
10?
sure.
Okay. So we did not discuss this. So I mean, you might know mine because we shared our notes and I
Yeah,
wrote a score. You did not, but
I don't remember what yours is, so you can say.
okay. So I gave this a good 6 out of 10. While it is not amazing, I do think it is good. Is it good compared to most things that I've heard? No. But is it good for them? It's amazing compared to most of their stuff. Like if you
It's true.
compare it to most of this other bullshit that they're pushing out, I think it's quite good. I think it actually has influence. Like I can hear influence from other artists in this, which is good. I like that.
Yep.
With their other songs, I just feel like it's just a mess. There's no like
Yeah.
influence. It's just them trying to be overly creative, and it's like, which is good. Like, okay, to be fair, bands that are completely influenced by another band also not good. I mean, they might be good, but like, it's still not original
Yeah, it's
material,
not
really.
unique, so
Right. But my point is like you got to know the fine line here, which I think they actually did on this song. They didn't directly copy from anybody, but they also didn't make it super original. But I'm glad that they didn't try to go for something super original, like kind of what their other songs were attempting to do, and just kind of falling flat. Because while it may have been that sometimes, like it's just like all this weird shit that they do that no one else would consider doing because it's a bad idea, collectively agreed upon
yeah.
just isn't in other bands' songs. So I would say it's a 6 out of 10. It is good. Is it great? No, but they included harmonies for the first time, and the melody is actually kind of good. So like there you go. And the mixing is thankfully not terrible, and it's very like kept low key. It's not like trying to be obnoxious,
Yeah.
like a lot of their stuff. So yeah, it's a good 6 out of 10.
Yeah, again, I pretty much agree. I gave it a pretty similar score. Mine is just a 6.5 out of 10, so pretty close.
Nice.
And yeah, I pretty much agree with what you said. It's definitely like a more basic and simpler approach, but that is totally a great thing for them because usually
Yeah,
they're very unique and creative, but in like the worst way possible. Which like this is just like trying to make like a simple good song, and they succeeded at that. Like huge
yeah.
shout out to them because like a lot of this stuff, like yes, they are certainly unique, but like I swear it feels like they're throwing random stuff in and just hoping to make something. It's like that's just not a good
Yeah.
approach.
I'm pretty, two things. Like, I'm pretty sure Brad Taste in Music said this once. He basically said that they think, oh, wait, no, ARTV said this, but he basically said something about like, they just think that throwing a bunch of bad stuff at a wall and like they basically
Yeah,
think something good will come out of that and they just hope it sticks, which is not the case.
pretty
It's
much.
obviously not working. Um, so yeah, it's just not working, really.
Yeah,
Also the fact that Brad gave it a 5 out of 10, like I did not expect that just because I thought his
true.
bias towards them now would get in the way of that. But it just goes to show if you can make a good song, no matter what label you're under, like it's not gonna be a completely negative review.
Yeah,
Okay, so that is our review of the newest single from pop group.
mostly pop.
They're not rock, mostly pop because there's literally like no bass or guitar generally. The mostly pop group AJR, that is their newest single. It's called The Dumb Song. Stupid title, but it's not as dumb as you'd think.
It's
Knowing them too.
it is
Um,
dumb.
so that was our review. It was an overall positive review. Nothing great, nothing amazing, but like very good compared to for their standards, as being very low standards. I always have low expectations for them, which can be good sometimes, but generally they meet or even lower my expectations on most reviews here. When that album comes out, I'm assuming it'll come out sometime later this year. My prediction is sometime between October and December, just because it hasn't been announced yet.
Yeah.
And like, yeah. So we'll probably do a off again another first time, unless we do it for another album that comes out before then. We'll probably do a reaction to that album just so we
Yeah,
don't have to listen to it more than once. Because if it does end
true.
up like being all their albums, I don't want to listen to it more than once.
Yeah,
So yeah, we'll probably do that.
it'll definitely be
Um,
interesting. And if it's bad, we can laugh at it and have fun, and then never listen to it again.
yeah,
So
then we can like it'll basically like just be another average AJR reaction. And
yeah,
by that I mean like the person that's reacting basically just laughs at
yeah.
them.
But this song
So
shows like it might not be that. It's definitely a step in the right
yeah.
direction. So we'll see.
Yeah, it definitely shows that they can craft a good song if they put a year and a half worth of time into it. So that's literally how
Yeah,
long that they were working on this, which like it shows because like most of their stuff, like
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
But like, yeah, it's good for them though.
yeah. So again, an overall positive review from both of us. 6 for me, 6.5 for Christoph. So pretty
Yeah,
similar, basically similar thoughts on this. Yeah. So that was our review of it. Tell us what you thought of this song. Did you love it, like it, hate it? What'd you think?
yeah. And I was just saying, definitely good to keep an open mind. Anything with music, even AJR, who mostly, makes bad songs and albums and all that. You never know. It's fun to be surprised and like, don't go into something. Don't. I mean, it's always fun to try out new music, even if you hate it. You can say,
Yeah.
"Oh, I listened to it."